Pastor Ed here with Daily Devotions for Thursday, October the 19th, 2023. Been talking about generosity. I think we'll stick with that for the rest of the week. I'll probably come back to it. I think I might have mentioned that on Tuesdays for the rest of the year, that is through December, every Tuesday there'll be a generosity devotion. But I thought I'd just stick with the topic for the rest of this week while we're at it. I talked about generosity yesterday as being the quality of being generous. I would have been flunked by my grade school English teachers for using the same word in the definition, but to be generous, if you look at that, is to be liberal in giving, to be open-handed, to even be marked by abundance or ample proportions. So I want to talk a little bit about, give you a good example of what we're talking about here. Keith Taylor, like many American Christians, had benefited from the generosity of other people at different times and in different ways. A number of years ago, while he was attending graduate school in Tennessee, his car broke down, and the subsequent repair bill caused him to be short on his rent that month. Fortunately, his boss at his part-time job paid the rent in full, a gift, not a loan. Well, one evening in 2002, Keith was reflecting on the kindness of his boss and on the other acts of generosity that had contributed to the happiness and stability of his own life. And like many Americans, Keith decided that he would one day dedicate his life to helping others. When I'm really rich, I'm going to start an organization to help the working poor, he thought to himself. But then he was seized by a remarkable thought. It occurred to me all of a sudden that no one who had ever helped me had ever been wealthy. They'd just been nice. They just had compassion. And that's when Keith Taylor became unlike many American Christians, because that's when he began to act. And so he would decided that he would try to help one person each month to get through some sort of financial crisis. He set aside $350 to get started. He also set up a very basic website that invited requests for assistance. But when that site was featured on a popular blog, Keith's plans went out the window. You see, he received 1,100 emails that next day. Most were from people requesting assistance, but a surprising number were from people who wanted to help. Well, a short time later, Keith incorporated a nonprofit organization called Modest Needs that exists to this day. The organization's first official grant saved a woman's life. She received money for a mammogram that discovered a tumor, and the organization, been gaining steam ever since. Every day is another miracle, says Taylor. It's beyond my imagination. And the other exciting thing about Modest Needs is that almost 70% of the individuals who receive money from grants end up donating back to the organization themselves sometime later. In other words, kindness produces more kindness. Generosity produces more generosity, which, as someone said, sounds like a great way to love your neighbor. I heard a quote once that said, "He who gives what he would as readily throw away gives without generosity. For the essence of generosity is in self-sacrifice." So when I first heard about this, or I first saw what I'm going to talk about, it was a number of years ago, so I kind of updated it. Apparently, American Christians, on average, so of all American Christians, the average gift per week is $17, the average offering. And for some people, clearly that's a struggle to do that much. But for many of us, we could afford to do so much more, and it really pales when you compare it. So, in the original comparison, it was compared to a movie ticket. So at that time, the average offering was $7. The average movie ticket was $7. Today, as I said, the average offering is about $17. So I went to the AMC 14 theater here in Freehold, and I saw that a regular ticket price is $14.99. If you go on a matinee, though, you get 30% off. It's only $10.49, so a little bit less than the average offering. However, I noticed this the last time that I went to the movies. You rarely go to the movies, you just buy the ticket and sit down. And also sometimes there's now seat premiums. So the last time I went, it may have been $14.99, but in order to get a seat that wasn't either way in the back or way in the front or way to the left or to the right, I had to pay like a $2 seat premium. So now it became like about $16.99 or almost $17. But who's going to go to the movies and just sit there and not have something to eat and drink? So I noticed that at AMC 14, a large popcorn and large drink is $17.78. So add that $17 and the $17.78, and now you're talking about nearly $35 for one person, or double what the average offering is. Sort of makes you stop and think, because most of us, many of us, let's say, wouldn't think twice. I didn't think twice to go into the movies. Now, I don't do it every week, granted, but the last time I went with my daughter Caitlin, it was something she really wanted to see. We both got tickets. We both had to pay the $2 premium, and then I think we had a popcorn. We each had a drink and like a small box of candy, and it was over $50. Now, that's still a lot for me, but I didn't blink. I did it. And again, the comparison, though, how generous really are we as Americans and as American Christians? Some of us, obviously, are very, very generous. Others can't afford to be more generous than they are. But I suspect, and I count myself in this group, there are those who could be far more generous than they are. And it's something to stop and think about. Generosity, to give liberally, because we have been given all that we have by a generous God. Well, take care. We'll talk a little bit more about generosity. I have a couple of other interesting stories for the rest of the week. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.